What up, what up, what up? This is Ra from Knick Life Crisis coming at you on Thursday, December 4th. Tis the season. We have the one and only Al from Harlem here. Al, what up, my dude? How are you today?
I am doing well, man. I'm doing well. The Knicks are back in the news. This is a good time to actually stop and record this podcast, so I'm glad we're doing this.
Yeah, it's been an adventurous couple weeks, days even. I don't even know. But the East is insanely competitive and I'm glad we're catching up as well. I know maybe we should start with sharing with the audience. You sipping on a little something something over there?
I got a little
You
bourbon for tonight.
a little bourbon. Just thirsty Thursday. Al setting the mood for all of our listeners, and hopefully we
Getting
get
ready.
more and more honest takes from Al as the drink goes down uh, throughout this episode. So Al, let's start with uh, the last two games. The Knicks are coming off a loss to the Celtics. I would call it it was a brutal loss. I will say we'll get into that in a second. And then we had a nice win against the lonely Hornets. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the game against the Celtics. I would call it a game that one I expected to win. I wanted to win. I was hoping that we would be setting a little bit of a tone. So, the other side of the coin, as you heard, it was a Celtics revenge game from last season. They were really amped to get back at us, given how the postseason ended. But let's take a minute and get your thoughts. What did you think of that game?
I did not expect to win that game. I was totally expecting us to lose that game. The Celtics have been playing better basketball as of late. They're starting to hit their groove and getting production from all these no-name brand guys that they have playing minutes now. And the Knicks are a horrible, one of the worst away teams. They can't win on the road. So I was not surprised at all that we lost that game. I was fully expecting to lose that game. That's just the state of where the Knicks are at right now. Any and every away game that they play, it's gonna be there's something wrong with them on the road. They're gonna be close or they're gonna potentially lose it. We've only won what, one game on the road?
I believe so, and I no, I think we won two. Well, we have won prior. We've won five
Maybe
of our
two, one in
last six.
Brooklyn, I think.
Yeah, yep, we won the Brooklyn one, and I think didn't we win in Charlotte once?
In Charlotte, that's two. Yeah.
And maybe even didn't we win one game in Chicago as well? Or no, we lost the Chicago game
We
away.
lost Chicago in Chicago.
So I actually expected to win this game, maybe because we had just won I think like four in a row prior to that, and I thought we were finally creating some urgency given how tight the Eastern Conference is, given how well Detroit's been playing. To me, it was a big loss because it was a game to kind of show that we were taking our situation seriously, right? Like when I look at what's happening out west, when I look at the Rockets and I look at the Nuggets and I look at, of course, the Thunder, those guys handle business night after night. You almost always expect them to win. And I was hoping we were kind of turning the corner. And even though the Celtics are without Tatum and they're not the dominant force they once were, the expectation is we would go out to Boston and handle our business. And we just didn't do that. We just, we'll get into a little bit later. To me, it's a tale of two. It's a tale of two types of approaches when you watch Cat play. And I was very disappointed with how he played this game. We'll talk about Cat a little bit later, but just to put in perspective, Jalen Brown dropped 42 points on us, shot 16 for 24. Derek White also had a big game with 22 points. On our side, I know you've been hating on him for most of the season, but I want to give him some love, given that he was balling out. Our main man, Mikal Bridges, dropped 35 points. I believe he shot 8 for 12 from three-point range. And he's been looking like the player we signed up for when we took him from Brooklyn. And I think it's great to see him flourishing. I love how he's been a leader. He's been vocal. And so that was, to me, the highlight of the game from a Knicks perspective, was watching how well Mikal Bridges played. What I thought was very disappointing was how Cat played. I mean, we were making a nice run towards the end of the game, and I'm sure you read, or you watched, I believe, when Cat tried to do that behind the back dribble.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
He was getting sloppy with some stupid 3-pointers, and it comes back to what we've talked about early in the season. Like, he'd hit a big shot, and he would be on the ground, or he'd be like talking about how he got fouled, and Boston was off to the races. It was a 5-on-4. No one was back there to anchor the defense. And for as much effort as he took to get a shot up, they came down and quickly scored. So overall, I was disappointed with the Boston game. I thought we were going to pull it off. I had high expectations for us to win. Personally, I love a good FanDuel bet. Maybe it hurt a little more because I kept taking the money line throughout the game. And I got fleeced towards the end of it. So sad to see that Boston game. But we did bounce back the night after, where we had the Hornets at home, which I thought was a nice win. I'm glad we handled our business. The Hornets are a disaster.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we were able to win. I don't know what they got going on, but let me get your reaction to that game. That was a fun game to watch as a fan. Let's see us get a W. Any good takeaways from you during that game?
I didn't think that game was that fun to watch. I thought it was very frustrating because we went up big and then we kept letting them get back in the game. So I personally was very frustrated, but I was expecting a win because the Knicks have only won at home, right? Right now, we have the only good thing about the season so far, or one of the good things about the season so far, is how strong we've been at home. But given that we're so bad on the road, that means we need to end up in the 1 or 2 seed for the playoffs. So we kind of came into the season saying like seeding doesn't really matter. Like, we need to get these young guys some run and develop them, which also that has not been happening. And then 2, now the season really matters because we can't win on the road. So we need to lock down the 1 or the 2 seed, preferably the 1 seed. So now the season becomes all that more important, and we're right back to trying to win every game, a la the Tibbs mode.
Yeah, so a couple points that you brought up. One, I want to react to the blown lead. I think we were up by like 23 or 25 at some point during the game. I don't know if it's like just an NBA thing now where nobody keeps a lead even when it's a 20-point game. But I do agree with you, when it's the Hornets, we should be able to like go Thunder style and shut down our starters for the fourth quarter and just kind of have our bench out there and wrap that up. However, I took this note down while I was watching. With 4 minutes left, the score was 104-96. Deuce then hit a 3-pointer, which put us up 11, but it was unnecessarily close to close the game.
Yep.
And just disappointing that, again, we just are not. I feel like we just don't. I think it's a Brown personality thing. I think it's a Mike Brown thing personally, that we're just not a serious team. I don't feel like we take Brown seriously. And then there's this funny clip that I was thinking about, where after the game, Brown was raving about Hawkporty, even though he had zero rebounds and fouled out in 12 minutes. And look, he did a great job staying vertical, defending the paint, being a presence for us inside. So I can appreciate what Brown said. The other thing I thought was ridiculous was that amazing pass Kolek had to Hawkporty under the basket when he should have just dunked it. And then I don't know if you remember, he swung it out to the corner
Yep.
to Deuce to shoot a 3, which was again just again you just don't do that. That's not how you handle business. And it was nice to see Tyler Kolek scream at Huck Porty. I don't know if you saw that clip to dunk the
Yeah.
ball. So I thought those were some positive growth moments from the game. But I also thought it was very funny how um, Mike Breen was just raving about the commentary around LaMelo during the game was hilarious. He had a 4-point play. He'd taken he brought them back a couple times, and they just kept talking about like, is LaMelo the real deal? Is he not the real deal? They spent more time actually talking about LaMelo in the fourth quarter than they did talking about our team. So I just thought that was interesting commentary from our announcers. But any other takeaways you wanna
Talk
address?
about you talk about not being a serious team. Like LaMelo plays unserious basketball. Like that dude plays like he's playing in the playground all the time. Like he's just unserious. And then anybody that didn't watch the game is gonna go look at the box score and be like, "Oh my God, LaMelo had such a good game. He balled out." No, he didn't. He plays losing basketball. I don't want to hear nothing about LaMelo. And there's people on Knicks Twitter talking about trade for LaMelo. We could use somebody like LaMelo. No, we don't. We don't need him. We don't need players like him.
I also think in this day and age, you know, there most people are consuming and the NBA through just TikTok highlights, and so
Box
nobody
scores
actually
and that's it.
watches
Yeah.
the game. But to your point, the Hornets defense was like middle school defense. Like if you were coaching a middle school team, you would have been disappointed in how they showed up. We had layup after layup, and that's the problem. We play to our competition every game, and when you watch the good teams, when they get their moment to crush the soul of the component, they do that. And we have just never been able to get to that point. It's always like we give up the big lead in the third. Our rotations are kind of messy in the fourth. So again, I feel like a lot of that stems from our coaching. But let's take a minute and also talk about the injuries, right? Maybe the injuries have something to do with this. So Mitchell Robinson did not play against the Hornets. He's day to day on the ankle. I think they're just taking it easy. For our listeners, Mitchell Robinson has played 13 games for us this season. He's averaging 17 minutes a game, and he's averaging about 8 rebounds. So it's interesting because we are being unbelievably cautious about Mitchell Robinson. And then recently, as of yesterday, I believe, they announced that OG is questionable for tomorrow's game against the Jazz. He started having contact in practice. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play Friday and he plays on Sunday. Let's see what happens. And then all of that is so let me start with those two things, because this is going to lead into what's happening on Twitter around Giannis and these injuries and some of the trade pieces that are all going on. Any reactions to Mitch or OG and what you'd like to see Mike Brown do with our lineup?
Well, Mitch doesn't. To me, he doesn't look 100% healthy. Just from watching him play. I mean, is he playing hard? Yeah. Is he giving us his all? Absolutely. But he doesn't look 100% to me. Something's wrong with his lower extremity. So, um, and the Knicks are being super cautious with him. So I think they are being cautious because they're trying to trade him. Right? He's on the last year of his contract, and the last thing they need is for him to get hurt, and then they can't trade him, and they're stuck with his contract, and they get nothing for him. But if he stays healthy, they can actually get something for him, right? He's like $13 million on the books. So that's that. The thing with OG, um, the dude has, I don't know where he got his hamstrings from. Must be Timu, but he's always got a hamstring issue, man. So I'm not surprised there. I'm glad that he's going to be coming back soon because we need him. If we had OG, Jalen Brown would not have dropped 40 on us, but Mikal Bridges is a scrawny little dude that cannot guard a dude like Jalen Brown. So he just put him to work. So
You just take a
we
shot at
need
my
OG.
man Mikal for no reason at all.
It's true. Watch the game. You were too busy watching him score 30, and you didn't watch Jalen Brown how he
35.
got his 40 points on your boy's head. We clearly need OG. Like we need OG big time. So I think him being out hopefully has helped some people, understand OG's value. We really need him back. But the other thing about with these injuries, so we have, and don't you didn't mention Shamit. So by the way, I think Shamit is done. I think they're blowing a bunch of smoke about him coming back. Even if he does come back, his shoulder's not going to be right. He's not going to fight over screens the same way, and his shot's going to be off. He's done, in my opinion. He's done for the year. He may come back, but he's not going to be successful. So I'm okay if they want to trade him. But I'm just very disappointed in I'm disappointed in all the loud Knick fans from last year that bitched about Tom Thibodeau and his minutes allocations distribution and how he didn't play none of the young guys because Tibbs didn't have that many injuries. This guy has 3 injuries right now. Porty's not getting any minutes. Diawara's not getting any minutes. Dadier's not getting any minutes. These are 3 areas where we're actually thin. We're thin at the wing and we're thin at center. And these guys aren't playing any minutes. I don't get it. They need to be playing. So that's my gripe right now with Mike Brown. And no one's talking about it.
I'll give you that. I'm also again not a big fan of Mike Brown, but
And if you look at the box scores, last night on the second night of a back-to-back, Cat played 39 minutes. The minutes police must have got defunded or something because they aren't chirping anymore. No one's watching the minutes anymore. But if you look at the minutes, everyone's minutes have crept up since these injuries. But no one's talking about that.
Watching
No
the
one
minutes.
wants to talk about it.
I'm watching the minutes. Nobody played over 40 minutes, which was our issue with Tibbs. Tibbs was playing people over 40 minutes. He played Jalen Brunson, I believe, 36, which I think is standard, good amount of minutes for our point guard to be playing. So I actually am, as a minutes police and non-Tibbs supporter, I disagree with you.
But this was on the second night of a back-to-back. This was the second night of a back-to-back. So if they're playing 39 minutes on the second night of a back-to-back,
played 39 minutes. But yeah, I hear you.
But he's the center. He shouldn't be playing 39 minutes. He's always hurt. He's
agree.
Another one that's always hurt. So then he's going to end up getting hurt, and we can start talking about the injuries and why people are getting injured. I blame it on the coach. Some people are still blaming Tibbs. But we're getting pretty injured here. So I don't want to see Cat go down because this guy's playing him 39 minutes. I'm making a joke about the whole Tibbs thing, but I'm actually concerned about how he's managing the minutes load. But no one's just talking about it. Everyone's turning an eye to it. But you need to watch what he's doing with the minutes.
I'm concerned about Cat's minutes. I agree with you on that. The rest of the team, I'm okay with. I'm not as concerned from a minutes police standpoint, but I'm hating, as we've talked about, I hate watching Cat at center for us. I just hate it. I think it's just a stupid way for us to be playing the amount of minutes we are. It just does not feed into our strengths. We score, but we don't stop.
We can't play. I understand you want to play Mitch and Cat, but who's the center off the bench?
Huck Porty.
He's not. Huck Porty sucks, bro. He's terrible. He's been horrible the whole year. You just said his stat line from yesterday. The reason he got that defensive player of the game was not because he was defensive player of the game. It's because he's trying to coach him up and build him up to be able to produce. He's trying to build up his confidence.
I think, look, I think we got to find different ways to get, whether it's, I know he's a two-way player, Jameson, Diawara.
I would like to try Jameson. Now he's always giving us good minutes when he plays.
Yeah, I like Jameson. I like Diawara. Just getting, even Huck Porty at 10 minutes a game does something for us. I just hate that we play Cat and Josh Hart at the 5 and the 4. But on that same note, since we're taking shots at everybody, which I'm Very, very
I'm
comfortable.
just explaining to you
Hey,
why he's playing this lineup, and it's because he's not getting anything from.
well,
First of all, I think Mitch is a little hurt, like I said, and then Porty's not giving you anything, so it's like I gotta go with. He's kind of forced to go this way right now.
so take a sip of your drink, and then I want your reaction
All
to
right, let's hear it.
the other two that I also have problems with. Big boy Yabusele,
Oh, he's horrible.
Who's on Zion's diet plan right now, which is
He's
insane.
horrible. He's horrible.
What happened? And then also Jordan Clarkson. I have more of a bag on the offensive end than Jordan Clarkson does right now. He
Yeah,
is a disaster. So give me your reaction to those. Those are
they
supposed to be
both
two,
they
like
both stink.
they were
Two
supposed to
prize
be.
pickups of the summer.
Yeah, that was supposed to be like
They're
that was supposed to get us through these injuries
Yeah,
that we're
they're
talking about now.
they're both giving us nothing. I'm not Yabusele. Okay, like I'm okay with him not giving us anything because at the end of the day, I always thought like he may or may not pan out. If he does, it a plus. Clarkson, I was expecting more out of, and just watching him more closely. Yeah, like you said, he doesn't have any wiggle. Like he doesn't have any like real moves. He seems to struggle dribbling the ball. And he doesn't really have any like shot creation ability anymore. I know he used to back in the day, but not
I
it.
don't
He
know if
doesn't
he
seem to
used
have it
to.
anymore.
He was good back in the day, but again, like it's like calling Kyle Kuzma good on the Wizards, right? When you play on a horrible franchise
Yeah,
have no rules or discipline, you can always put something together and your stats will always look decent. Kind of like your point about LaMelo right now.
yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I mean these guys got to figure it out. It's been very disappointing to watch. And so before we close out this segment, we're 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 aligned on a couple things. Our concern about Cat's minutes, our disappointment in Yabusele and Jordan Clarkson. I still am a little hopeful on Hawkporty piecing this enough together to be a decent backup center for us to get us through. So I'm more bullish on him than you are. I would like to see, we both agree, a little action from Trey Jameson and Diawara. So hopefully Brown can figure that out. But that leads me to my two questions for you. We're about like 20% of the way through the season. I'm
Mhm.
gonna put you on the spot. I want two grades. I want a grade for Cat and I want a grade for Mike Brown at this point in the season. What do you think?
I give Cat a C. I
Mm.
don't, and that's probably generous. He's not having he's having a down year. So he's struggling to come around, and it's really I think a lot of people forget because Brunson is so good and he's clearly the leader of the team, that Cat is by far the highest paid player on the Knicks, and he ain't playing like it. You getting paid 60 million a year, you better play like it, bro. So he's got to get it together. So his his production is inexcusable right now. It's not cutting it, and that's why a lot of people are calling for his head right now, rightfully so. I'm not gonna defend him. We can go pull up the clips from last year on what I said were my concerns about this team. Everybody, nobody last year, everyone said we only needed to do one thing. It was change the coach, and that was going to take us to the championship. Now, oh, Cat, and oh, we should trade for Giannis, and we have to trade for Giannis. Now it's all this other stuff. But before it was just we were one thing away, and it was the coach. So now you see, it wasn't just that. But give him a C. I give Mike Brown a B. I think he's inherited a brand new team, and for all intents and purposes, the Knicks are playing good ball. They're number 2 in the East, I think. Maybe they still are. So, I mean, it's a brand new team that he's adjusting to. He's got him playing his style. They're getting better. He needs to figure out what the hell's going on with them on the road. And if he could do that, then I think he'd be in good shape. And then obviously the other thing was with him was that I remember asking like, what is he? Is he an offensive coach or is he a defensive coach? Which one is he? Because some people said he was a defensive coach, and I think that was more of the consensus. But I always said, well, the Sacramento team never played defense. So it looks to me like he's an offensive coach more than the defensive coach because we're playing more like Sacramento than any of his defensive teams like he had in Cleveland. So that's my take on him.
So a couple things to react to for our listeners. Cat is getting paid 53 million this year, 57 next, and then the third year player option 61. OG is making 40, 42, 45, 48. The next four. Jalen Brunson, the best deal in the NBA, only second to Deuce McBride, making 35 million, 37, 40, 43. Mikal making 25, then 33. Josh Hart 20, Mitchell Robinson 13. Yabusele 5.5, McBride 4 and change, and Jordan Clarkson making 3.6. So just like perspective, and I bring this up because we're gonna get into the Giannis trade rumors in a second. So just good to know what everyone's making. But a quick announcement on my grades. So I gave Cat 2 grades. I gave him at power forward, I give him a B. At center, I give him a C minus. That's my he gets 2 grades from me. And Mike Brown, I give a C to. I'm just
Why?
well, all the things you just sat and ripped him up about for like not playing Daddier, not playing Hawk Porty, not playing Diawara, not playing Jameson. Like we are literally playing the same exact lineup that I feel like we want to get rid of because of Tibbs. So you might be like, Tibbs isn't the problem. I still think Tibbs is the problem, but I just don't think Mike Brown is the solution. So my position is that Tibbs still needed to go. And the minutes police did not get defunded. I am still sending checks to somebody for that. I think that the problem is still Mike Brown. I think he's goofy. And I think when I see some of these other coaches and how they show up and manage a team, like Jalen Brunson's a serious dude. Mikal Bridges, I feel like, is a serious dude. Cat is not a serious guy.
He's not.
Josh Hart to hit, I think he's a little goofy. Maybe it comes across in the roommate stuff and eating like M&Ms from people on the who are sitting courtside. But I think he plays relatively intelligently out there, and he plays hard, and he's a serious dude. I don't think Mitch Robinson's a serious guy. I don't think Cat's a serious guy, and I don't think Mike Brown is serious. And I think it's fun to have non-serious players, but you have to have a serious coach.
No, I think they're serious. It's just they can be serious and have fun at their work too. They don't have to be like stone cold, boring, serious the whole time. They can have a little fun with what they're doing.
Okay.
It's a long season.
Okay. All
I
right.
think they're very serious. They just have, certain deficiencies that they need to overcome, bro. We have real weaknesses. Trivia time. Guess what? Your boy. Guess what? Your boy Mitchell Robinson is shooting from the free throw line this year.
Well, I'm going to take whatever the number is. I'm going to ask you how many free throws he's taken, but let's call it 65%.
Lower,
50%.
He's shooting 17%.
How many free? Oh my god!
I don't know how many free throws, but that is insane.
That's insane. How are you a
can't-
basketball player?
So that's another reason
That's
why
like
he needs to get
That's like
traded.
me going to work
Well-
and not being able to like use
Well,
the internet.
that's also when the Celtics game turned. When they went to the Hack-a-Mitch, that's when the game turned. They took us out of our rhythm. More teams are going to do that. He's going to become he's going to become an unplayable player in fourth quarters, or even when we're winning. That teams are going to throw us off of our, like if we're clicking, they're going to stop our momentum by fouling this guy. We got to trade him, bro. He's got to go. He's great. I love him. I love everything else about him. But bro, if you're gonna be shooting 17%, like you're making yourself unplayable.
Do you like his taste in music?
I don't really care about his taste in music because the boy balls out. Like, so I don't care about that.
Free throw line.
He just not from the free throw line. And it's so crazy that becomes so like it just becomes so impactful that he can't see the floor. That was the same problem that Drummond had when Drummond was in his prime. They couldn't play him in the fourth quarter.
I'm
It's
I'm
it's
sure
crazy.
I'm sure if Drummond's listening to this podcast, he's just happy anybody's talking about
And
him.
this is a good segue to your new boy that you're trying to holler at.
Don't say it like that. That sounds so
What
terrible.
what
Your
are
new
you
boy that
what
you're trying to holler at. Come on, now. Am I gonna have to cut you off from drinking during this? What is it? Your new
what what
man. Don't take shots at me.
what
Yeah.
is Giannis shooting from the free throw line?
50%.
No, he's shooting 63%, but his
Okay.
number might be even more problematic because he actually goes to the line a lot. So that becomes like 5 to 8 missed points in a game, every game, you know?
So okay, we're gonna get into the Giannis thing in a second. I just want to clarify two things on Mitchell Robinson. We'll move on. I asked you about his musical preference. For those that don't know, he loves country music, which I just find, you know, hilarious given some of his
Yeah.
tweets that he puts out there with his big pickup truck. And the other thing is, start him at the start of the quarter, get the other team in foul trouble, and then pull him out when we can get to the bonus a little bit. Play him accordingly. I agree. 17% is horrendous and unforgivable, but hopefully it's because he's like 2 of 7 from the free throw line right now, and it's something that we can like kind of overlook as the time goes on. But let's get into what the entire Twitter or anybody with any sort of handle or any opinion on the Knicks is talking about. Every single person is bringing up Giannis wanting to come to the Knicks. Then last night, in that same breath, he goes down with a non-contact injury, a calf strain, the same thing. I think any basketball fan immediately thought Achilles injury, given KD's history, Tatum, Halliburton, you know, bad calf strain, torn Achilles. For some reason, they now kind of feel like they kind of go hand in hand, especially as some of these big superstars.
Oh yeah.
What So I guess two parts. What do you think of? Would you want Giannis? What would you want to give up for him? And then feel free to sound off on the injury concern part.
Well, I mean I think Giannis is having a great season by the way. His numbers are insane. So his production is still there. I naturally when you talk about Giannis, you start to put Cat into the equation because their salaries are pretty much identical. Um, whether or not Milwaukee's gonna want Cat is another question. I don't know, the answer to that. So, first, there's two ways to a deal, if any. It would have to be one centered around Cat or a second deal that's centered around Mitchell Robinson and a few other guys. Um, would that be Mikal? Would that be OG? I don't know. It depends on who the Bucks want. I don't think the Bucks really would be interested in either of those options. I actually think that those 7 picks that we used for Mikel is going to bite us in this attempt to get Giannis. So if we had those 7 picks, we'd be able to get Giannis for sure. I think we'd be front runners to land him, but we used them on Mikel. It's crazy because Leon Rose was, he was hoarding these picks for the right move to come along, and he freaking used it on a role player. And then the next year, the superstar comes along, and now we don't have the picks to get him. So I think that's how it's going to pan out. I don't think he's going to end up coming to us. We're going to get outbid. Um, and I'm okay with that because I think Giannis has really big red flags around his Achilles. I actually talked about this on the podcast last year because he had the same exact injury last year. He went down the same exact way. I thought he tore his Achilles last year, and it was ended up just being a calf strain. But I've been on record saying his Achilles is hanging on by a thread. And then, of course, yesterday, the same exact thing happened again. So I would hate for us to trade for him and he comes here with our luck. He tears his Achilles here, a la Aaron Rodgers, who was supposed to carry the Jets to a championship.
Oh God, why are you talking about this?
Another guy from the Milwaukee area coming over here. Like we have built so well and we have fought so hard to get to this point where we're actually championship contenders. For us to throw all of that on the table, roll the dice for this guy to come here, if he tears his Achilles, we're right back to square one. And my heart can't handle that. That's like resetting another 30 years because our window would immediately shut. This guy his whole game is based on his athleticism. He's not like KD. KD can withstand the Achilles comeback and still shoot over you. This guy's whole game is based on athleticism, and once his Achilles goes, his game's gonna go. So I don't want to run that risk. That's very high risk, high reward. We've played those games before and been burnt before. I don't want to do that. I do not have interest in doing that. So I am gonna say no to a Giannis trade, and I also don't believe we have enough assets for the Giannis trade because we gave up 7 picks for number 25, Mikal Bridges.
So a couple things. I don't appreciate how you came after me for Mikal Bridges again. He's more than a role player. Keep taking those shots. I'm gonna find you, Al.
He's not an all-star. He's not an all-star. I would have called him an all-star, but he's not an all-star.
Okay.
So he's a role player.
He's more than a role player. Okay, it's hard to make an all-star team at the guard position. We'll get there.
Role players are important, bro.
All right. You don't make it sound like you're defending him now. Okay, don't. How much of that drink is left? Let me see how much of that drink is left. What's going on over there?
I still have a lot, man.
Yeah,
I'm just sipping.
All right. So also for our listeners, Giannis and Kat essentially make identical salaries, like $1 million apart per year. I think though, if I'm Milwaukee, I would want OG, Mitch, Deuce, and Kolek would be my ask. Because if we get Giannis, we have to get his. I think he has 2 brothers on his team. Or are they both brothers on the Bucks now? I don't even know. We'd have to take.
There's another. I think there's one other wrinkle with the trade. I don't think you could obviously the salaries have to match, but I also don't think that we could send out 3 and bring back 2, because I think it has to be the same number of players as well.
But also these 2-way contracts, right? Like the Jamesons and that we're talking about, those are $500,000 contracts. So those things, you throw a couple of those guys in, I feel like they can find the fillers. I think to your point, we don't have the draft pick assets to get it done. The only way it happens is if Giannis is just like, look, I got you guys a championship. You said to come back and give this a go. I'm not happy. Do me a solid. Take care of me. I think a third team is likely in the works. I think the more serious contender in this is the Spurs, who have the assets and the cap to get it done. Mm-hmm. And the NBA is going to want to break up this Thunder thing. These guys are unstoppable. I feel like we're all playing for second place right now watching the Thunder.
They might have 2 top 10 picks in this upcoming draft, right?
The Thunder, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they got the Clippers pick, and who's the other one?
They have another. The Clippers was one of them, and then I think they have a swap with somebody else, maybe Phoenix or some. I don't know.
Yeah,
no, but yeah.
And the other thing, the other reason I would like if you were just to be like, hey, would you like Giannis or Kat? And you tell me to pick one, and that's all that was in.
I would take Giannis.
I take Giannis.
That's easy.
However, I think the reason I don't think this trade will happen is in all of our years of being basketball fans, when has a rumor actually come true during trade season. Like it rarely happens when someone's like, "Oh, this is definitely happening." I feel like it never happens.
Carmelo happened.
Okay, that's fair. That ruined our franchise for a solid decade. So,
Yeah.
okay, that's one way to play it. So
And
yeah,
I wonder how bad James Dolan, good old Jimmy Dolan, wants Giannis and is willing to step in again and do whatever it takes to get him, kind of deal. So
I don't think he's going to step in this time. I don't think he wants the heat from it this time. I think he's in a different
he
place.
learned his lesson. Yeah.
I think yeah, that was so much, and he's still dealing with the Melo backlash. I feel like now Melo's like, retire my jersey for what? For what? To get us for getting us to the second round of the playoffs once? Get out of here, bro. Go
They
watch.
should retire. They should retire his jersey.
Are you serious? You think that? All right, that's a different day. I can't believe I got to listen to this nonsense, man. So we both agree. If the deal was a 1-for-1, which it's likely not, we would both take Giannis. However, right now Giannis is out for 2 to 4 weeks. We'll see what comes of that injury. Let's see our team with OG back. It's going to be exciting. So let me ask you real quick. We have 3 games upcoming.
Hold on, a couple of things on just to wrap up on Giannis. So if we trade him for Cat, and this is for our listeners, this is stuff that I've said in the past as well. So if we trade him for Cat, I have concerns about our floor spacing post the trade. I would prefer, if we're going to make the trade, I would prefer to pair him with Cat and trade. I'm okay if they want to trade OG or Mikal. Like,
I think they'd want OG. I think the Knicks would want to keep Cat. I think they'd want OG, and I think they'd want Mitch because they're rebuilding anyway at that point. And those two guys.
Yeah, the only problem with Milwaukee is that they have none of their draft picks, so they're gonna stink as soon as Giannis leaves, and they're not gonna have anything to rebuild with.
They will though. If they get OG, they re-sign Mitch Robinson, they re-sign Deuce. That's a roster. That's like a solid NBA roster right there.
Okay, but but you need to add to your roster every year. They have no draft picks. That's the problem. So they're gonna look for a package with a lot of draft picks because they don't have any of theirs. They're idiots. I don't know what the hell they were doing.
You know what? Nobody except the Thunder have everyone's draft picks.
They were trying to appease Giannis, and so they swung deals for all these people, right? For Dame, they were like, "Screw it, we got to keep our superstar happy," and like,
Miles
okay,
Turner.
and then look now. He's disgruntled. He wants to leave, and you guys are screwed because you already traded all your pieces trying to appease this guy and trying to keep him happy.
Yeah. So then when you say it like that, especially with Miles Turner, then Cat makes the better fit to play alongside Miles.
Yeah, he does.
But we'll see. Now these injuries have kind of derailed everything. Trade deadlines in February. My thinking is this is going to go silent through the end of the year.
Yeah,
we'll have to revisit this come January when the East is a little clearer. Because right now, minus the Pistons running away, seeds 2 through 9 are like 3 games apart.
Pistons ain't running away, man. They're gonna come back down to earth. They ain't that good.
All right,
I'm
remember
they haven't really played anybody.
That's true. I mean, the East is wide open. Period. That's the big urgency. Is it feels like if you get Giannis paired with Jalen Brunson, you can run away with the East right now. I think that's the opportunity, the urgency. So, real quick, 3 upcoming games. I want to get your record. We have the Jazz tomorrow, the Magic on Sunday. Taking my daughter to the Magic game on Sunday, Kids Day, and noon game. And then she's going to hear her dad. Dad's going to teach her a lot of new words if we keep losing the Magic like this. And then we play in Toronto for the quarterfinals of the Cup game on Tuesday. Nothing to me, but maybe it's something to you. What do you think of the upcoming?
Why do we play in Toronto for the quarter cup for the Cup game? That doesn't make sense. You sure it's in Toronto?
I'm not sure.
It should be in our house.
I will tell you right now. But why don't we start with the Jazz
No. That's key information because I'm
oh,
gonna pick us to lose every game we're away. That's
oh
just the
damn.
state of the Knicks.
Okay, so we're home for the Jazz, we're home for the Magic, and let's see. Games. Tuesday, December 9th. It says we're playing the Raptors. The Raptors are the 2 seed in the cup. The Magic are the 1 seed.
So
The Raptors are the
we'll be
2, we're
going
the 3,
2-1.
the Heat are the 4.
We'll be going 2-1, sir. We will lose that game to the Raptors.
No confidence in going up north, huh?
Nope. They're gonna have to prove it to me that they can win on the road.
All right.
And the Raptors been playing decent ball. I know we put the beats on them the other day, but they outside of that, they've been having a good season.
They have a better record than us. They're 15-7. We're 14-7.
You see? So, and I'm pretty sure they play, good, even better basketball at home, right? So,
And they
if
got
the
to whoop
Knicks,
our
if
ass because we just won
they
the
owe
last
us, yeah.
game.
If the Knicks don't come to play that game and they do the same shit that they've been doing on the road, they will lose that game. So don't go into that game expecting us to win. Don't go with that attitude, man. That's not these Knicks. Just be prepared to be in a dogfight and potentially lose because that's what they've been showing us.
I'm unfortunately in agreement with you on that. So last part.
I gotta manage your expectations here, man. Because they get a little out of whack sometimes.
I'm not out of whack. My expectations are right in line with where they should be. I'm angry and disappointed in our team. I want us to be better. I just can't.
Me too.
I can't get over that Cat is still playing center the amount of minutes he's playing center with Josh Hart at the 4. I'm still struggling with that mentally and emotionally.
But you have to think that there's other reasons. I think you got to think about Mitch's health. They're trying to trade him. He's getting traded, bro. I think that dude's getting traded.
I think we got a bunch of trades coming up. I think there's going to be. I gotta understand the second apron a little bit better, but given what my gut tells me, we will get a lot of trade. There will be a decent amount of trades that take place. I just don't know how limiting the second apron will be for being able to find trade partners and move players. But I do think that teams are trying to get geared up to make some moves happen. And us especially, we can't sign McBride. We can't re-sign him. Shaman is done for the year.
Yeah, we have gaps. We definitely have gaps.
Big gaps. We got to figure this out. So it's going to be interesting. Also, real fast, I want to close with one other piece on Crisis Corner about Chris Paul. But before I do that, I actually just want to give somebody a quick shout. It just came to mind. If you've been checking at all your Instagram feed, everyone is doing their end of year Spotify rap list where they're like, oh, like look at this.
I haven't done mine yet, but yeah.
You wait till you have a kid, bro. Then you check. I have like K-pop demon. I got like. I don't want to know about my Spotify list, but I want to shout out. There's a gentleman. He lives in Boston. He's from Chi-Town. He's a big Bears fan, big Bulls fan. No giddy. He put spot on his Spotify wrap-up list he sent me. His name is Anil. Anil, shout out to you. Knick Life Crisis made his wrap-up list, so he sent me that.
What?
So, thank you for listening.
Did you share that on Instagram? You got to share that. I need to see that.
He sent it to me in text. I'll share it. I'll share.
Send it to me. I'll post it. That's awesome.
I'll send
Shout out to you, man. None of my friends have Knick Life Crisis as their top Spotify thing. I'm gonna have to have a talk with my guys, man.
Yeah, man. Make some calls. Calls.
Let's get this ring some heads. Yeah, I'm ringing some heads.
Yeah, you let them know. We'll treat them with the Clippers CP3. Yeah, we need more like. we need good people in our lives, right? We will just leave you. So what's your reaction? Lob City got together after Chris Paul got cut. They have them all Chris Paul posted this picture of like the three of them on FaceTime, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, and him chopping it up and laughing. I think Chris Paul is in a sad, desperate moment right now. he's like that guy that. And listen, I love Chris Paul, point guard, one of my favorite players I've ever watched from his days in New Orleans. What is your reaction to the Chris Paul drama and how it all went down?
I just thought it was hilarious what he said to Kawhi Leonard. I don't know if it's fake or not. I seriously thought that it was real. So there was some, I don't know if this is real or not, but it said Clippers wave Chris Paul after he joked to Kawhi, load management, bro. You are the load. He said the entire room reportedly froze as every player tried to process what he just said. Staff members described the silence as the longest 10 seconds in franchise history. Kawhi simply stared, stood up, and walked out without a word. Within the hour, the front office met, reviewed the situation, and made the decision to cut CP3 before the tension got any worse. I find that hilarious. I can see Chris Paul saying that. That's why I think it's
Me
so funny.
too. I can too, and I can see Kawhi doing that exact thing, being like, "I don't care," and just walking out.
What
It's
I
it's one of those things when you are a leader, the way he's always been a leader, it's hard to be something you're not.
Yeah.
And the Clippers are like, "Yo, retire a Clipper, but shut the f up and ride the bench and enjoy the weather in LA. We don't need your commentary." And you know who really doesn't need his commentary? James Harden. I bet you James Harden more than anyone was like, "Yo, I traded you for Russell Westbrook. I don't want to deal with you again here. Do you guys want me or do you want Chris Paul?" And obviously, if you're the Clippers, you're like, "Yeah, James, we obviously want you. We're paying you $50 million a year." And the other thing that I would hate if I was T. Lue is Chris Paul barking at me while I'm dealing with all these other egos and then having to deal with a washed up player's ego on top of it. I'd be like, "Bro, you think I'm happy being like 6-15 right now? You think this is what I want going on? I don't need you holding me accountable right now." And so I think that's kind of just like how it all ended. And yeah, listen, CP, it was a hell of a run. It's not the exit you wanted. Maybe someone else picks you up, but a bit of
Mo-
humility goes a long way.
most players, I think their exit doesn't go as planned, right? They want this grand, beautiful exit, and a lot of them like just kind of wither away. Like Melo's exit wasn't not anything like fabulous or great. Like he kind of like
Like his
you
time in
know
the Knicks, not fabulous or great. Yeah.
he wasn't playing well, and then next thing you know, his career was over. Like it wasn't. He didn't have anything crazy, embarrassing like this happen because he wasn't that type of guy. But I'm talking about when you say like that's not the way you wanted to go out. Well, like how was he gonna go out? He wasn't even playing. Like so, he wasn't going out any type of way. Anyways, he was washed up already. And what I don't think is funny is that people were trying to link him to the Knicks, talking about the Knicks could use him. No, we can't, bro. We don't need him, bro. Keep him far away from the Knicks.
Yeah. You know where it would be funny if he did go? OKC. Get his championship, wrap it
That
up
would be
there. That
now
could be,
that would be a good way for him to go out.
he should think about it. He should
Even though
think.
it's kind of sad because he didn't get it as a real player. But
Yeah. And remember, he was there. He went there. He was a
I know.
professional. They traded him. I mean, so, as I enter my
Teams like
fourth,
that could use a veteran too, like on the bench, like a guy that's not gonna play, like a PJ Tucker, a la PJ Tucker,
oh,
and just
PJ
gonna
Tucker.
coach. And it's
PJ
just
Tucker.
basically gonna be a
Forgot
coach.
about him. Yeah. I'm trying. They put him in Charlotte, dude. Somebody there needs to be serious.
Well, that's I
Him and
guess so.
LaMelo, that could be hilarious, bro. That could be like perfect strangers ass. That's like quality
That'd be
time.
like the odd couple.
Yeah. Get some bunk beds, hanging
But
out.
he needs some tutelage like that, though. He does need some. See, he does need that, though. Like,
He does. He does. I also loved him on the Spurs for a little bit, but
yeah,
he's had a rough go at it towards the last few years. Like his post Clippers run has been pretty
Bro,
tough to watch.
he's what is he, 6'1"?
Yeah.
This is the league of giants right now, dude. Like there's not going to be many 6'2" and under guards coming in the NBA in
Yep.
the future. Trust me.
It's a new world. That's why we got to figure it out with JB too. But for another night, Al, thank you for making time, bro. It's always great catching up with you. Shout out to all of our listeners. If we end up on your Spotify rap list, hit us up. You can be. I put you as the screensaver for my phone if that's the case. And yeah, much love. Any closing comments from you, Al? Anything you want to say?
Thank you to all the listeners that we've had for the supporting us for this year. Looking forward to your continued support in 2026 and beyond. Don't ban me because I don't want Giannis, but I think he has major red flags. I know it's not a popular opinion, but I'm not afraid to say the unpopular opinion. All right. And if you think otherwise, sound off in the comments. Let's go, Knicks.
Al's not scared, fellas. All right. Have a great night, everybody. Let's go Knicks.
Peace.
Peace.